All right, so today we're doing order of operations within mixed numbers with unlike denominators. So we have to follow the rules of order of operations first. So with our first one, we have 2 5/8 plus 2 1/2 in parentheses. We have to do the parentheses first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 2 5/8 plus 2 1/2. I'm going to write it vertically, it's just easier for me. So I'm noticing that I have an 8 and a 2 as my bottom numbers, denominators of my fractions. I have to find the least common multiple in order to make them equal. So if I count by 2s, I go 2, 4, 6, 8. If I count by 8s, 8. 8 is my least common multiple. I like to draw an arrow when I change these to 8s so that I can write above the arrow how I got from one to the other. So if I look at the first one, it didn't change. It went from 8 to 8. You could just bring it over, or how did you get to 8? It was times 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. And then how do you get from 2 to 8? Well, it's times 4. 2 times 4 is 8, so you have to do the same for the top number. 1 times 4 is 4. I'm going to look back. I'm seeing that we're adding. So we're adding 8s plus 8s. I get 8s. I'm adding 5 plus 4. I get 9 8s. And then I have 2 plus 2 as my whole number, so I have 4 and 9 8s. Now, normally we would turn this improper fraction into a mixed number, but we are only halfway through the problem. Now I do want to show you this is our answer to this parenthesis, so this is our first number. So the next part of this problem is taking the 4 and 9 eighths and we're subtracting the 4 and 2/3. So now I have 8s and thirds. 8, 16, 24. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So 24 is our least common multiple of 3 and 8. How did I get from 8 to 24? It was times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. How did I get from 3 to 24? Times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Now this time we are subtracting. So we have 24s minus 24s, which is 24s. 27 minus 16, which is 11. And then 4 minus 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So our answer is just 11 24s. This is the one we did in class, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. But we had 5 and 3/4 and 1 and 5/6. The LCM of 4 and 6, we are adding these. The LCM is 12, so I'm going to change them both to 12s. I got from 6 to 12 by times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 4 to 12 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. We are adding 9 12s plus 10 12s is 19 12s. And then my whole number is 5 plus 1 is 6. So my first part of this is 6 and 19 12s. But I have to subtract 6 and 7 12s. So I'm going to write minus 6 and 7 12s. What's nice about this, we have 12s and 12s. I can go ahead and do it. So 12s minus 12s is 12s. 19 minus 7 is 12. So we're left with, and 6 minus 6 is 0. I don't have to write that 0 there. So I'm left with 12 12s. Some of y'all freaked out about this today, didn't know what to do. Well, it's full. The other thing to remember, this is a division line. So we really have 12 divided by 12, which is 1. Our answer is just 1 whole. So number 17, we're going to start out with our parentheses. We have 8 and 1/5 minus 7 and 3/10. So we have fifths and tenths. 5, 10, counting my 5s. 10, counting my 10s. So 10 is my LCM. How do I get from 5 to 10? It's times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 10 to 10 is just times 1, which is 3 times 1 is 3. Now this time I'm subtracting. I have tenths minus tenths, which are tenths. 2 minus 3 I can't do. I don't have enough. I only have 2 fingers. I can't take away 3 of them. So I have to come over here and regroup. I'm going to take one of these wholes, so 8 becomes 7. And then when I bring it over, what I like to do is I just go ahead and put my plus sign here because I had 2 pieces and I'm bringing over more. How many I'm bringing over? Well, it's the bottom number, the denominator. That's how many pieces make a whole. So I'm bringing over 10 pieces, which equals 12 tenths. So now I just have to subtract my 12 minus 3 is 9, which is 9 tenths. 7 minus 7 is 0. So at this point, I'm 9 tenths. So right here, this answer to this parentheses is 9 tenths. What do I have to do? I have to add 4 3/5. So I'm going to write 4 3/5 here, and I'm going to add it. So I have tenths and fifths. I'm going to count by tens, 10. I'm going to count by fives, 5, 10. So my least common multiple is 10. I got to change them both to tens. How do I get from 10 to 10? Times 1. 9 times 1 is 9. How do I get from 5 to 10? Well, it's times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. Now I'm ready to add. So I have 9 tenths plus 6 tenths, which is 15 tenths. And then I have my 4 wholes. So I'm left with 4 and 15 tenths. You can do this a couple of ways. You can go ahead and do 15 divided by 10, or you can simplify it first. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and simplify it just so that you all can see this again. What goes into both 15 and 10 equally without a remainder? Well, you can divide the top and the bottom by 5. And when we do that, 15 divided by 5 is 3. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So we're left with 3 halves, or 3 over 2, which is improper. So we can take 3 divided by 2. How many times will 2 fit into 3? 1 time. We're left with 1. This is how many pieces we have left over. This will become the top number of our fraction, how many pieces we have. And then how many total pieces make a whole is 2. So just this portion, this 3 over 2, became 1.5. But we still have these 4 wholes over here that we have to put with it. So what is 4 plus 1.5? Our final answer is 5 1/2. So our last one today, we have a parenthesis. We have 13 minus 10 1/3. Some of you all freak out when you see this fraction down here. If you want a fraction up here just so you don't freak out, again, we're dealing with thirds, but we don't have any pieces. So it's really 0 thirds. If that makes you feel better, that's great. So now we're ready to subtract. Thirds minus thirds is thirds. Well, what's 0 minus 1? Well, if you have nothing, you can't subtract anything from it. So we have to regroup. We're going to change our 13 to 12. We're going to bring this whole over to the fractions. We had 0 pieces, but we're bringing over 3 pieces. So now we have 3 over 3. We're subtracting 1/3. So 3 minus 1 is 2. And then 12 minus 10 for our wholes is 2. So this part of our fraction, this part of our parentheses, the answer is 2 2/3. Well, what do we have to do? We have to add 2 2/3. So here we have thirds and thirds. Our answer is thirds. We add 2 pieces. We're adding 2 pieces. We have a total of 4 pieces. And then we have 2 plus 2, which is 4. So we're left with 4 4/3. Again, 4 thirds is improper. How many times will 3 fit into 4? 1 time. We're left with 1 piece that's still ours, so that's our top number. 3 pieces make a whole. So this 4 thirds is now 1 1/3. 1 1/3. But we still have those 4 pieces, so we have to add the 4 wholes. 4 wholes plus 4 wholes plus 1 whole is 5. So our final answer is 5 1/3.